Hi, I'm Rochelle, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. I am doing Criminali's Read What You Own challenge, in which my husband has picked out 100 books wrapped up in newspaper, and I am picking them one at a time from my little jar of green paper that I think used to be a salsa jar. Now, the last book I read was the best song, then beste låta, which is a collection of essays by different, mainly authors. I think there was one or two musicians in there who writes an essay based on what they think is the best song of all time. And it made me sort of think about how you can have a connection between music and literature without actually listening to songs while you are reading. And this is getting more and more common, I think. I know that partly due to fan fiction, and I think that fan fiction got it from television and film. It's not uncommon to create lists as sort of books with these are songs that inspired me while writing. You can listen to it while reading. But this is something a little bit different, and yet it's not. So it starts with, for example, a Norwegian author, they're all Norwegian, talking about All I Want by Joni Mitchell. And I've listened to some Joni Mitchell. So I put it on, listened to it, just to sort of get into the groove of what she was going to talk about. And what I realized is that she actually mimics the song in her writing. So her essay, where she tries to talk about choosing which song to write about as sort of her task with the essay, mimics the way that the song is built up. So that is a very different way of sort of connecting music and how music can inspire us to sort of the language, the literal language. Another of the essayists, I think it was, I'm just going to quickly find it, Pedro Carmona Alvarez, which writes about the White House. I Dream of Billy and I Dream of Horses. This was probably the essay that moved me the most. He talks about losing his father at a young age and losing his sister because she runs away from home and becomes probably homeless. And that sort of a CD with the White House is one of the few things that she gave him before she ran away from home, and how then he used that as a way of coping with the losses both of his father and of his sister, and in praxis his mother, who turned out to then distance herself from her son. So he grew up quite alone. So that was sort of a very long one. And some of them were interesting in the sense that they said something about authors that I know. Jon Nesbø, for example. I think probably he was the one who had the most, I don't want to say flair, because I don't necessarily think that Jonas Nesbø, which writes crime, and there's nothing wrong with that, is doing fine doing that. But he was probably one who had a lot of play on words that I enjoyed. He writes about the song that he really likes, and he was traveling to an upper class girl that he was flirting with, and wanted to convince her that this was one of the best songs ever. So he was traveling on Easter, and talks about this is going badly, and it's only Thursday. It's going to be a long Friday, or a short one. So he has some very funny play on words, and some of them I think are just sort of not my cup of tea, but that's sort of the fun of a book where you have 19 different authors. Not everything is going to be your cup of tea, but most people will find something that is their cup of tea. But I know that unless you understand Norwegian, you'll probably not be able to read this type of book. But I still wanted to talk about it because of sort of the interconnection of how can you use music in your writing, not just as a playlist, not just as something here is music to listen to while you read. And I want to know if you have any other examples of the interconnection between music and literature, where it actually does something with the way the book is written. So I will absolutely love if you could do that and tell me about it in the comments down below, because I was more intrigued by that concept than I thought when I started reading the book. So that was that book, and let's now figure out what is our next book. I need to pick. I'm not trying to pick something below, and we are doing 64. Interesting. As I stated, I have not wrapped up the books. My husband has wrapped up all of the books, so I have no idea what I will be faced with. So, but luckily I found Magical 64. I just realized that I'm probably going to have a problem because I didn't underline it with the books 99, 66 and 69, but I'll take that problem when it arrives, because it's too late to do anything about it now. But now we are reading book 64, which is Jonas Jens Bjørneboe. Before the Rooster Crows. So if anyone is wondering about that small small note there, is that I have a lot of different projects that I do regarding my reading. So in addition to everything else, I also have a project where I want to read a book from an author from all of the municipalities in Norway. It's kind of inspired by reading one book from each state of the US, if you know about that one, except that it's the municipalities of Norway. And this Jens Bjørneboe, which is a very famous Norwegian author, represents Kristiansand. So this book is just trying to talk about it. So Jens Bjørneboe he's a famous Norwegian author. I know he has been translated, but I don't think he is sort of the Norwegian author that you think about. He lived from 1920 to 1976. So he sort of is sort of a part of the time before and after World War II. And this book actually talks about the horrors of the Nazi concentration camp and what happened there. And he sort of connects it based on the blood on the back with how science has used humans as guinea pigs, because that is something that the Nazis unfortunately did a lot in the concentration camps, especially because they sent the Jews and they sent the Romas and they sent the gays, but a group that we don't really talk about that were also sent to the concentration camps were, of course, the disabled and the sick and the people who were abnormal in the way the Nazis looked at it. And what they did to the people who were born disabled, not sort of, oh, you lost a leg because of an accident, but born disabled, whether they were used in medical experiments. And sadly, that's why research today, especially when it comes to medical research, has such sort of a strict guideline regarding the use of humans in any kind of experiment. Because yes, the Nazis gathered a lot of information about the human body because of the things they did, but at what cost? Jens Bjørneboe, I think, at least it wouldn't surprise me if he at some time worked not just as a fictional writer, but as a journalist. I'm absolutely going to figure that out. But join me next time after what I don't think is going to be a fun read, but probably a very important one. And thank you for listening to me screaming into the